Happy Motivation Monday to you, Tito, and everyone else who's watching this, who will be watching this. Thank you for joining. Thanks for watching. I just want to say a couple things as we get going. That it's just an honor for me to be able to do this. It's a privilege to just put stuff out there with His House and 180, and to hopefully encourage people. And so as we get into this week, Mondays can be stressful days. It was a couple weeks ago now since the last time I did the last Motivation Monday, and I talked about bearing one another's burdens and encouraging one another and doing all that stuff. And we definitely need to do that. But today I want to talk about, bearing your own load and, doing what you got to do for yourself. And so one of the things I've heard about recently, and I'm sure it's been out there for a while, other people have probably known about this, I just heard about it, but there's a dude who wrote a book, and in the book, it's called The Circle of Control, and there's things in this circle of influence and concerns. And so the premise basically is, in life, we have things that we're concerned about, things that cause us anxiety, things that we want to see change in, and then we have an area of influence that we have, where this is where we can actually make change. This is where we can actually influence different things in our lives and different people in our lives. And so what I got from it was, the whole premise is that instead of putting all our anxiety and energy into the things that we can't change, to direct them to the things that we can change. So in Galatians chapter 6, verse 5, it says, each will have a connection. Does that mean it timed out or no?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm just going to keep going. It says in Galatians chapter 6, each will have to... In reading this, what Paul is saying is that we all have our own responsibilities that we need to take care of. And so going forward this week, what are those responsibilities that you have to take care of? And also think about this. What are the things that are stressing you out, that are causing you anxiety? And so what I did today to kind of give you guys a little bit of an image, I wrote down concerns that I have in my life, and then areas of influence that I have in my life. And so if you see here, it goes health. So like my health, I have a concern for my health. And some of it is in my control, but not all of it is in my control. There's things that happen to me that are out of my control. My family, like their safety and well-being. My church and just the overall health of it. His house right here. The economy, finances, your own personal finances. So the economy is a large part out of your control. And sometimes your finances as well. The state of the country, what's going on in the country, your job security, sports teams. Oh, it's backwards. Thanks, Tito. It's whatever. You guys get the point. But sports teams, others and their well-being, travel if you're doing public transportation or flying, that's largely out of your control. Terrorism in the country, and then also being liked. And you guys can't see this, but it says cucumbers right here. And I wrote down cucumbers as a concern because it's a funny example for what I'm trying to get at. There was one time I needed to buy cucumbers at the store that I worked at, and apparently there was a drought in California that affected the cucumber market, and so there were no cucumbers that summer. And so stuff like that can be out of your control. And so cucumbers, you never know, you might not be able to get them. But influence, real quick. Things that you can influence. And so the anxiety that these things cause, the things that you can't control, I want you guys to direct that anxiety and the concern to the things that you can influence. And that's what I'm trying to do in my life. So one, be my family. I can influence my family. I can speak life to my family. I can encourage them. My daily responsibilities, I have things that are my responsibility to take care of every day. And I need to, be concerned about that and get to that. Also, I got His house here, my church, my own personal finances, my response to how people respond to me. So I could, act a certain way, say certain things. People will respond. And if they respond a certain way, it's really up to me how I respond back to them. And then things in my control. So in your own life, you have what are called controllables, things that you can control, and then you have things that are uncontrollables, things that you can't control. And so I just want to encourage you guys not to stress yourself out and fret over the things that you can't control, because it doesn't do anything. really, being anxious about it doesn't change anything. And Jesus even said that in Matthew 6. He says, which of you by being anxious can add a single hour to your life? Meaning, like, which of you by being anxious can make a difference by being anxious? And we can't. And so looking at this week ahead, and even today, if you're stressed out, if you're anxious, really process what is it exactly that's making you anxious and stressed out. Is it things that you can't control, or is it things that you can control? If it's things that you can't control, I just want to tell you, let go and let God, honestly. Because what is it good for? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. There's no reason to be anxious. And so focus your energy on the things that you can control. If those things are stressing you out, that's good. And put your energy towards that, and make differences there, because you'll get a sense of accomplishment once you're done, and you'll be able to see tangible things in your life, and you'll be less stressed because you'll be taking care of things that are stressing you out. So yeah, guys, thanks for listening and tuning in. I hope what I said today made a little bit of sense. I'm sorry that the board was backwards. It makes sense because my camera's backwards. But there's things in our lives that concern us, and there's areas where we can have influence. So maybe even do what I did. Write down the things in your life that concern you, and then write down the things that you can influence. And if they overlap, find out what those things are and pursue it and try to make a difference. So guys, happy Motivation Monday, and I look forward to seeing all of you. Bye-bye.